Hi guys, I am back, and right now we're going to talk about why we only love and trust Young Living and the truth about the essential oil industry, because this goes hand in hand, okay? So most essential oils out there that you are able to purchase are either entirely synthetic, so entirely created in a lab with no plant material, okay? And or they are loaded with alcohol. So they are filled with alcohol. They are loaded with synthetic ingredients and solvents and contain very, very large amounts of pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. Okay? The reason why we want to avoid synthetic fragrance is that fragrance is a term that companies are allowed to hide thousands and thousands and thousands of chemicals within the term fragrance. So the term fragrance is loaded with carcinogens, endocrine disruptors, all kinds of harmful things, especially harmful to our respiratory system and our immune system. So we definitely want to stay away from those. Okay, so let's understand this a little bit more. There are 4 categories of essential oils out there in the world. There are grade A, and grade A essential oils are therapeutic. They're made from organically grown plants, and they're distilled at low temperatures. Okay, then there's grade B oils. Grade B oils are food grade oils. So let's say you buy some type of food or drink product and it has essential oils in it. Those are grade B oils, and they are allowed to contain synthetics, pesticides, fertilize, chemical extenders, and carrier oils. Okay, then we have grade C oils. Grade C oils are perfume grade oils. So if you ever bought a perfume from like a Whole Foods or a natural store, and it contains essential oils, that would be the grade C perfume grade oils that are almost always extracted. So the essential oils extracted from the plant using solvents. So a very common solvent that is used is called hexane, and the reason why they use solvents to extract the oil from the plant is because they get a higher yield. It's much faster and easier and produces more essential oil, okay? But the problem with that is then the solvents are in the essential oil, in the end product, okay? So what you are getting in a perfume grade oil is loaded with these solvents, which are known carcinogens and are endocrine disruptors and are in almost every single store-bought oil that you can find, okay? The other thing about perfume grade oils is that they are allowed to be diluted 80 to 95% with alcohol. So that is something to know. Then there are grade D essential oils, and grade D essential oils is floral water. So if you've ever heard of floral water, if you've ever gone to one of Young Living's farms and walked through their distilleries, you've seen the actual true distillation process. And in that process, you can see the essential oil separates from the water. So the water that is separated from the essential oil, that is floral water. Now, if it was Young Living floral water, it would be amazing to use maybe for like a mist, maybe to add as like the liquid in maybe a room spray or a linen spray or anything like that, right? The problem with it though is if it's not from Young Living, it contains the pesticides, the herbicides, the fungicides, all the other things that are included in that. And the other problem with that is that the FDA does not regulate essential oils. All they care about is that 5%, so let's say here's my essential oil bottle, the FDA only cares that 5% of that bottle contains essential oil, and they don't care whether that's grade A, B, C, or D. So it could be floral water, okay? And if it has 5% of any type of essential oil, it could have tons of pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, solvents. It could have alcohol. It could just be floral water. And then the rest of the bottle can be carrier oil, alcohol, water, any kind of synthetic, anything, synthetic fragrance, phthalates, parabens, anything, okay? If it has that 5%, and is filled with whatever else, and that 5% is loaded with who knows what, they are allowed to label it 100% pure therapeutic grade essential oil. okay? So that is not a good base to judge on whether or not you should purchase something, okay? So know that. Now, remember the grade A oil? The grade A oil is the therapeutic, medicinal value oil that's from organically grown plants, distilled at low temperatures. That is what Young Living is, okay? Young Living is grade A essential oil, and in the bottles of Young Living essential oils, it's only essential oil extracted from the plant. There are no fillers, there are no carrier oils, unless it's a blend that's labeled for like a roller. They'll sometimes include carrier oils, but it will be labeled if there's a carrier oil, and it will be clean and safe. There are no alcohol, there's no solvents, there's no chemicals, there's no pesticides, there's nothing other than the essential oil, okay? Now let's talk a little bit more about how Young Living creates more than organic essential oils, okay? So when we go to the grocery store and we're buying our USDA organic produce, in order to have a farm that is certified USDA organic, I can purchase a conventional farm that's being sprayed, okay, with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, all the chemicals. I can purchase that farm, and I can use the same plants that are already there, that have already been sprayed, the soil's been sprayed, everything is covered, right, in those chemicals. And I can just not spray for 3, 5, or 7 years, but I am allowed to spray with the pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides that are approved for use for USDA organic farms. So there are still chemicals allowed to be used, okay? So I can spray these allowed chemicals on my farm. Keep in mind, the chemicals they're still in the soil. They're still on the plants. They're still in the leaves and in the stem and in every single part of the plant, right, is full of chemicals. So the fruit or vegetables that are being produced from these plants are still loaded with chemicals, okay? And so then after 3, 5, or 7 years, I have a certified USDA organic farm, okay? So when we go and we purchase these fruits and vegetables from wherever we're purchasing them, they will not be as organic as Young Living essential oils. Why? Because Young Living will never plant where there have ever been pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides in the soil. It is clean soil. They make sure it is mineral rich and full of enzymes so that it produces the most therapeutic medicinal plants possible. They only use their own seeds that are tested for purity and quality and to produce the highest therapeutic value plant, okay? They test the soil, they test the water, they test the seeds, they test it as it grows, they pick it at the time it's supposed to be picked, they plant it where it is supposed to be planted, and all of their distilleries are on the same location as their farms. That is because if we were to grow our own food in our own backyard and wait for it to ripen and pick it when it was ripe and eat it, we would get the highest nutrient value from our food. Okay? It's a fact. It's scientifically proven. When you purchase your food from another country and then it comes to America and then it sits on the grocery store shelf and all of that, they have to pick it when it's not ripe. It sits for a long time. It loses a lot of the nutrient value. So the same thing goes for the oils. Because Young Living is providing us with therapeutic medicinal quality oils that have a profound effect on our body, they want to make sure that all of the chemical constituents that give that effect are still in the oil after it is distilled. So they harvest it at the perfect time, and then they distill it as soon as possible after harvest to keep all of those chemical constituents intact. The entire distillation process, there is no plastic, and it's all stainless steel and glass because the Young Living oils are so potent that they would leach the plastic into the oil. So it's all stainless steel and glass. They have third-party testing throughout the entire process, and it is the most pure, the most organic possible oil that you get, and that then you can ingest and all of that good stuff, which we'll talk about later today. Okay, what other companies do also is they'll distill the same plant multiple times because all they care about is the scent. So if another company is actually using real plants that probably were sprayed. We don't know. They're probably going to distill that same plant over and over and over again just for that scent. But that does not create a medicinal oil. Okay? If you're just going for scent, that's a totally different thing. Okay? We're going for an emotional, physical, full body response when we use our Young Living oils. Okay? So, 0 pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides, testing throughout the entire process. If you want to read more about it, you can go to seedtoseal.com. Young Living also has full transparency, so you can visit all of their farms, you can visit all of their distilleries and take tours, you can visit their warehouses, you can visit their corporate headquarters, you can visit their laboratories, you can take tours of all of it, and you can talk to the farmers, you can walk through the fields, you can help to plant. They are full transparency. The other thing that is beautiful about Young Living, especially with Earth Day being yesterday, is they are all about sustainability and caring for the earth. So they are going for 0 carbon footprint, and globally, overall in their global operations, 0 waste. And this is within the next 3 years. Okay, those are their goals, and they are working very well towards that. They don't even have a dumpster at their warehouse at all. And they actually, for free, teach other companies how to be sustainable and how to care for the earth and the planet. Okay? The other thing that's beautiful about Young Living is if you go to younglivingfoundation.org, you can read about the amazing things that Young Living does all over the world to help everyone. Okay, so they're ensuring that wherever their farm is, the farmers are taken care of, their children are being educated, they build schools, they help with saving people from sex trafficking, they help all over the world. And you can look at that at younglivingfoundation.org. 100% of all of their donations go to helping people around the world. Young Living covers the costs to run the foundation. So all of our donations go straight to helping people. Okay. How does Young Living make their essential oils to be so therapeutic and medicinal? Okay. It takes a lot of work to make a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of Young Living essential oil. It takes 60,000 rose blossoms to make 1 ounce of rose oil. Okay, so keep in mind, if someone is spraying, let's say they're using actual plants and they're spraying their roses with pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, and they're using 60,000 rose blossoms to make 1 ounce of rose oil, imagine all those pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides compounded into that bottle of oil, into that drop of oil. Young Living has 0 of that. What they use in lieu of pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides is essential oils, because as you'll learn, essential oils are natural bug pesticides and natural herbicides and natural fungicides and natural antibacterial and all of that. So they actually use the essential oils to deter the bugs and the mold and the fungus and all of that. Okay, so they're doing things correctly, and it takes a lot of plant material to make a tiny amount of oil. For lavender, it takes 220 pounds to make 7 pounds of oil. For jasmine, Young Living jasmine oil, the jasmine flowers are picked by hand before the sun becomes hot on the very first day that they open, and it takes 8 million hand-picked blossoms to produce 2.2 pounds of oil. This is how Young Living does it, the correct way, okay? They hand weed, they treat the plants with respect, and as far as the tree oils go, because Young Living is sustainable, oftentimes the tree oils will go out of stock for years because they will not distill trees unless they have enough mature trees to replace it, okay? 0 carbon footprint. So a sandalwood tree, for example, must be 30 years old and 30 feet high before it can be cut down for distillation. So Young Living is sustainable, and their oils go out of stock for years because of that. And they have a huge reforestation project going on in Hawaii to create Royal Hawaiian sandalwood oil, which was out of stock for a very long time. But now they have a reforestation project, and you can go visit that farm and experience it. Okay, one more thing about Young Living oils. Okay, this is super important. The distillation process is super important. So Young Living uses low heat, low steam distillation. They use resin tapping, and they use cold pressing, okay, to create their oils. Why is that so important? Because if you distill cypress correctly, the oil cypress, and at the right temperature, there are 288 naturally occurring therapeutic compounds. However, if the temperature is 10 degrees too cool or 10 degrees too hot, there are only 11 chemical compounds, okay? So those chemical compounds are what create the medicinal value, the therapeutic value in our body. So for other companies, if they're not distilling correctly, they're losing all of those chemical constituents that are meant to help and heal. Okay, one last thing. Let's talk about why Young Living diffusers are far superior to any diffuser you can buy anywhere. Let me get a drink of water. Okay, talking too much, making me choke. Okay, so Young Living diffusers are cold air diffusers. Remember how we just talked about 10 degrees too hot, 10 degrees too cold damages the chemical compounds, the chemical constituents that have the effect on the body? Same thing with diffusing. Okay, you need your diffuser not to damage the chemical constituents in the essential oil so that it still has that therapeutic medicinal value on our body. So the Young Living diffusers are cold air diffusers, so they don't damage those chemical constituents. And they break the oils in such a microfined mist that the essential oils stay suspended in the air for several hours after you stop diffusing. Okay? Why is this important? Because most diffusers, A, damage the oil, B, they literally spit it out and it instantly falls to the ground. So you're not breathing it in, it's not killing airborne germs, you're not getting any benefit from it, okay? But the Young Living diffusers break it into such microfine particles, keeping the chemical constituents intact. So for 3 hours after your diffuser turns off, you are still breathing in those therapeutic compounds. They are still killing germs, airborne germs in the air. They are still killing germs in your respiratory tract. They are still having a profound effect on your emotions and your physical body that you will learn about later. So that is why the diffusers are so important, the Young Living diffusers, okay? So let's talk a tiny bit about the research on diffusing, and then I'm gonna be done for right now. So why diffuse? Research has shown that cold air diffusing using Young Living diffusers and Young Living essential oils reduces bacteria, fungus, mold, and unpleasant odors, relaxes the body, relieves tension, and clears the mind, helps with weight management, improves concentration, alertness, and mental clarity, stimulates neurotransmitters, stimulates the secretion of endorphins, stimulates growth hormone production and receptivity, improves the secretion of IgA antibodies that fight candida, improves digestive function, improves hormonal balance, relieves headaches, oxygenates the brain. Studies show that essential oils help promote healthy brain blood flow. They support the cerebral perfusion and have a remarkable effect on how we think, study, retain, and remember. And this is just from diffusing our Young Living essential oils in our Young Living diffusers. One last thing before I go, if you are a teacher, or if you're trying to homeschool your kids right now, diffusing Young Living essential oils in your classroom increases student and teacher attention, focus, memory, and productivity, increases student and teacher attendance by decreasing sick days, obviously when we're having normal school, decreases stress levels for students and teachers, boosts the mood of students and teachers, and decreases the toxic burden in the classroom by eliminating the use of air fresheners, plugins, and other synthetically scented products. So that is all for right now, but that is why we only love and trust Young Living, and everything we talk about for this 10 days is all about Young Living essential oils. If you guys have any questions, drop them below.